Hello to everyone tuning in to Curbside Conversations today. This is our very first episode, and my name is Danny, and I'm working together with Neil. Hi, Neil.
Hi Danny, thank you for introducing me. So, welcome guys, Abroad City on the Move. Today, we are hitting the brakes on car culture and shifting gears towards a more sustainable future. So Danny, what's our topic today?
Our today's topic is public transportation, a microcosm of society. This is the lifeblood of many cities in Florida as well as the United States in general. However, there are some serious issues at the moment. Alright, enough with the music. Neil, can you tell us a bit about the current problems in the United States?
Yeah, Danny, for decades, the car has reigned supreme in many American cities. However, a growing number of residents are seeking alternatives. Traffic congestions is a major concern, with commutes turning into frustrating daily rituals. Pollution from cars is another pressing issue, compacting air quality and public health.
Absolutely. Cars are a major cause of bad air quality. Also, they are very dangerous. People die or get injured in car crashes every day.
Yes, Danny, you are right. So recently I read an article on USA Today. So it says in USA 40,000 fatal crashes every year. That means 114 each day. That's a lot. It even is the leading cause of death for the people aged 1 to 54.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. I didn't know there was 40,000 fatal crashes each year alone in the United States. I bet a lot of people in the audience didn't know that either.
Oh, Danny, do you know the emission of carbon dioxide is also a great problem for our environment that comes from the cars?
Yes, I read an article by the US Environmental Protection Agency. There it says that about 10% of the global CO2 emissions come from cars and vans. That's a huge proportion. Additionally, there's a great cost to owning a car. Neil, don't you know more about this?
Yeah, according to AAA insurance company, owning a used car is cost like 10,000 a year and 800 a month.
And that's only for a used car, right? Imagine how much a brand new car is then.
Yeah, the new car is a lot. I can't imagine to pay that much money. And just imagine, we could use that money for like anything else, like vacation or gambling.
Yeah, that would be really smart.
Yeah. Okay.
Neil, maybe people shouldn't gamble. I guess they can if they want to. Anyways, after a short break, we'll be back talking about the perspectives of some common people around us.
Hi guys, welcome back. I think hopefully you guys enjoy the music tone and let's start our podcast again. Okay guys, for more information, we interviewed some civilians around us. So Danny will start that.
One of the people I interviewed was my grandma, who has lived in the United States as well as in Germany. As she has lived in both countries and experienced both cultures, she has noticed some differences on how she gets around as well as the people around her.
Danny, wow, that's interesting. Can you please elaborate for us?
Yes, of course. So, one of the major differences she noticed is the way people get around. How they get to go to eat, how they get to the supermarket, how they get to school, and just in general, how they travel.
So Danny, what are the differences she noticed?
So some of the differences are that in the United States, she generally has to go everywhere by car. She doesn't have any other options. She can't walk to stores or bike or take the train or bus. She has to take the car.
Oh, Danny, I also heard about too. Because I interviewed my dad and he was from Bangladesh and we came here as a permanent resident for the family category visa And from the third world, is everyone want to come in the USA, so it's like challenging for us.
Oh, okay, so you guys came from Bangladesh. I'm just not exactly sure what challenge you're talking about.
Actually, in Florida, having a car is almost necessary for us, and there is a limited public transportation options. Before he came, he didn't plan out the whole thing. He didn't know that he have to pay that much money for car here.
Did he not own a car in Bangladesh? If not, how did he get around there?
No, actually, in our country, in Bangladesh, we had a lot of public transportation options. So, like, there was a vehicle called rickshaw that was like three-wheel vehicle. So that was a good public transportation options, and there was like other public transportation is like train and boats or other stuffs, so buses also. So there are a lot of things. So we don't have to like own a car for us.
Okay, that makes sense. I talked to my grandma about that too. Coming from Germany, she usually got around in a train, a bus, or by bike. Her family did own a car, but they did not really use it that often. Only their parents did sometimes. Her, as a child, she just went outside with her friends. In the morning, she went to the city by train, and then in the evening came back. The parents didn't even question anything. They just let her out in the morning, and she came back in the evening.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's also similar to us in our back home.
Okay, so we've talked about the lack of public transportation in the United States, but I think there are some places in the country where you actually can get around by public transportation and don't need a car. Neil, didn't you talk about someone with that?
Yeah, Danny, that's a good thing. Yeah, I actually talked with my aunt who lived in the New York.
Oh yeah, New York City. I bet she doesn't even need or want a car there.
Yeah, absolutely. My aunt live in Brooklyn and she doesn't even own a car.
Oh, okay. If she doesn't own a car, how does she usually get around then?
Oh, she and most of the people in New York like go around with the subways.
Yeah, that's true. I've had that experience too. I've been in New York many times. All the times I've been there, I have been there once with car and around 6 or 7 times by train I've gone in, and I do not want to go by car anymore. The train was a lot faster and of course cheaper. And I didn't have to deal with traffic and focusing on the road. I could be on my phone or do whatever I wanted in the train.
So why you use your phone in the public transportations? Whom are you texting? I thought that you don't have friends.
Okay, Neil. Okay.
What's up, brother? What's up, brother? What's up, brother? Thank you, brother.
Alright, Neil. Now that we've talked about the perspectives of some people we've interviewed, why don't we talk about the possible solutions to the issue in the United States and in Florida?
Yes, Danny, you are right. I have done a lot of research on how things can be done better and how can we improve in our public transportation and other things.
Why don't you shoot right into them then?
Yes, Danny. So first of all, I think public transportation is an addition that cities and towns in Florida and the US need. So it can be a lifeline for newcomers to Florida. And it allows them to get around without having to worry about buying or keeping a car right away. And that was one of the big issues my uncle had faced when he first moved into Florida. He had to rent a car, which was very expensive, until he bought one. Danny, can you talk me a bit more about the benefits of public transportation?
Yes, other than the cost benefits, there are many more good things about public transport. I think that most people would realize that public transportation vehicles like trains and buses are way more efficient than cars. Imagine 15 people on a bus compared to them all in personal cars. When they're all on a bus, they save a lot of space on the road. This reduces traffic jams and congestion in general for people who are on the bus or in their car. Additionally, one bus emits a lot less CO2 than 15 cars. A news article I recently read by the KCATA says that US public transportation saves 37 million metric tons of carbon dioxide annually, and that is in the United States, where there is not much public transportation. This equals the emissions of electricity generated from 5 million households around the US, which would equal Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, New York, Atlanta, and Denver combined.
Wow, that's huge. Yeah, because of your reasoning, I think the US should invest more in their public transportation and infrastructure.
Yeah, I agree. Imagine how many emissions that would take off the road. And imagine there would be way less traffic if people were on trains or buses. Even it would be better for the people in cars because they would have less traffic to deal with.
Yeah, that's a good point. I want to add something else. The US government should focus on their bike lanes and sidewalks because there are more people who use bikes and cycles and also the golf carts.
Yeah, I agree. Often the sidewalks in the US just randomly stop or they aren't really safe. They're very
Yeah.
small and also they often don't even lead anywhere. Additionally, bike lanes are barely anywhere.
Yeah,
The painted lanes on the road don't really do much. They're not safe, they don't protect you from cars. I think they need protected bike lanes so people feel confident, and there needs to be more.
Yeah, I also face that problem also when I go to work from my house in cycles or bike. It's a big issue.
Not to mention, biking and walking is a lot healthier than driving the car, especially since the US has such a big obesity problem.
Okay, Danny, I think that's enough for today.
Okay, I'll sum things up in a couple words at the end. So, I think the US has a big problem with car dependency, and there are not many other options to get around for people who don't own a car or can't because it's too expensive. Additionally, the environmental impacts of cars aren't great, and the US should start changing into public transportation or walking and biking options more. But that's enough for today. Goodbye,
Goodbye,
Nice.
niece. And thank you, Miss Geiger.